Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 8 of the Enigmatica 6 single-player Let's Play series. So, in between episodes, I did have a small stream last night, and I got everything kind of cleaned up around here. I think I like how this looks significantly more than it did previously, so let's take a quick tour, take a look and see what we've gotten done. Finally, I got a pathway, and you'll notice that we've got some of these framed slabs that have coarse dirt or gravel, and these just kind of help get us up and down these levels without having to try to time the jump or over jump, because it's kind of annoying since we have such a high jump it takes even longer to get back on the ground. So the slabs help us keep going. Along with that, again, like I said, the pathway comes over here, but the biggest surprise, I think, is how this area turned out. So this is our little river area, our little pond as well on the, I guess this isn't a river, this is more of a stream. Anyways, so yeah, we've cleaned this whole thing up significantly. I think it looks way better this way. You can still see the power line coming down. You can see the capacitors here available to clean everything up like we mentioned. And up here I have a proper full-grown sugarcane and bamboo farm. So the bamboo farm isn't really like a major farm. I don't tend to need a lot of bamboo all at once, but the sugarcane will be a necessity over time. So this area over here is most certainly designed to be just as functional as it is pretty. So yeah, this whole area really came together. I really like how this turned out. And if we take a look, we've got some little park benches that we can sit in to admire. I'm probably going to take that out. To admire our view, to see what we've got around, and we've got another one over here to just watch the lake. And you've probably already noticed, but we have over here a Smeltery from Tinker's Construct, and it even has blazing blood. I wanted to do this in an episode, but I didn't really think it was good content by the time I was done with it, and so I ended up doing it on stream, and I had everything recorded. It just didn't really, the whole thing just didn't really turn out as planned at all. So essentially, because I have Silk Touch, I've been running around the Nether and taking out those obelisks, the ones that, or the pylons, I guess. They're made of obsidian, and they are spawned in by quark. Well, since I have Silk Touch, if I take out the spawner, I get to keep the spawner. So we have quite a few spawners. We have one that's zombified piglin, but most of these are blaze spawners. The zombified piglin ones are ones that are found in little dungeons that are part of repurposed structures, if I remember correctly. But for the blaze spawners, we have quite a few of them. So what I did was I made a small little quartz conveyor belting system and used that to lure blazes that were spawned from 4 of the spawners that I picked up and put down, and lured them into the smeltery to create blazing blood out of them. I then used the time in a bottle to speed up the process a little bit, and so we now have blazing blood. Blazing blood burns at 1500 degrees versus 1000 for lava, which is important because we need it to be able to smelt some of the more hard and resilient materials, such as netherite. And the reason that's useful is because we smelted down a lot of our netherite material that we've been getting. We got a couple of things here and there that we didn't need, like things from, for example, apotheosis that were enchanted with enchants that we didn't really care about. So rather than sitting and keeping them just sitting somewhere in our little system here, I took them, I smelted them down for their netherite, and then cast that into an ingot, which I applied to some of our more useful stuff, like our helmet. Our leggings were already netherite, but our axe is now netherite. It still kept all of the things that I had before, right? So I added some enchants like Leech and Sharpness 6, but it still has the Soulbound, it's still mythic, it's still unbreakable, and now it has 14 damage. Our netherite our pickaxes for Silk Touch and Fortune have been upgraded, and so far that's pretty much all we did in the stream, was just beautify some stuff, run around in the nether to pick up 1 or 2 more ancient debris because we were close to an entire extra ingot and we just didn't quite make the cut. So yeah, now I did clean up parts of this area. There were these parts over here that didn't really turn out, or weren't really easy to clean up, so I wasn't able to get to those. But this area over here got cleaned up. This was where I had accidentally vein mined all that jasper. And so I went through and cleaned out and refilled it all in with jasper and dirt and grass, and I think it looks a whole lot better. You can hardly tell that I was even there. Now, I'd like to do something with our portal at some point, but for the time being, there's not a whole heck of a lot that we can do, and that I plan on doing. But for today, I wanted to look into improving our storage situation because the situation right now is kind of a pain. You know, I really wanted to like this system, and it's not that I don't like it. It's just this terminal is kind of a pain to interact with. I end up having to double and triple click this to get this to actually work where I type in it. Like, watch, okay. If I open this up, it's not selected. If I click on it, it's selected, but if I type stuff, it works. Now, if I open it now and type stuff, what is it? If I do this such that it is selected, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it's weird. Right now it seems to be wanting to work, but a lot of times I'll come in here and just click on it and go typing, and it doesn't want to sync. So what I'm thinking is maybe we can get a little bit of additional power from some of these other mods we have, and use that to do some refined storage, some very early game, very simple. Like, I know a lot of times I do pretty advanced refined storage right off the gate, and this time I think I'm just going to keep it dead simple. With that, I think I may try to look into some automated smelting processing, because I know we have the system over here, and it works, it exists, it's fine, except now it doesn't work anymore because our little setup that we made last episode is too fast. This guy spins just a little faster, and that has messed up this entire system as far as being too fast, and now we have no way of smelting, because it won't smelt. It goes through the system way too fast again. And as much as I do love the system, it's just such a pain, and I don't really feel like setting it up again. So I'd love to find some alternatives for smelting, and I know that we have one or two, so I want to take a look at that. So if we look at furnace, I noticed these two from Engineer's Decor. So high temperature, high insulation furnace, stone smelting, heats up mineral blocks to magma, finally to lava. Okay, so that generates lava. This is a pass-through furnace. Draw items from input. Let's see how hard this is to make. It looks pretty straightforward. I think we have most of these things. Yeah, looks like we do. I'd be interested in making this. Well, let's grab 5 of these. And so what we can do is we can turn that other area where we have the smeltery, we'll turn this into like a dedicated metal pressing area, because it would be very useful to have a few of these. And to have them faster, because this is okay fast, but they can go way faster. I mean, this guy's crazy fast already. So we can make them go faster, it's just we already slowed down that entire lineup to keep the conveyor belts at the right speed. And of course that has kind of messed some stuff up. So let's take a look at the small electrical furnace, and let's take a look at immersive. We should have, let's grab one of these and one of these. Okay, so let's see how terrible it would be to set this up. Because I know we have a lot of capacitance at the moment with our 2 LV capacitors. I think we should be able to afford to fill this guy up. Now you see there's this weird little bar here. I think that's a good sign. It looks like it's accepting power, and it looks like this is the input and the output slot, respectively. It's really weird that there. Not really weird, it just feels weird, I guess. So if we took a look and took some, I don't think of anything we have that I would really want to smelt in the first place. Let's grab Gabbro, see how fast this is. I don't think it's going to be very fast, but that's okay. It's more about just not having to keep up with coal and fuel. No, that's actually decently fast. And can I speed you up? Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, this definitely seems like an option. I'm trying to think of how exactly we would want to set this up. But I think this should be more or less fine, right? Anyways, so we will probably look into using these small electrical furnaces, but we need a way to do some power gen to get these running anyways. Oh, they keep their inventory. That's pretty neat. Not especially useful, but very cool nonetheless. But what I wanted to do was, if we look through the quest line, one of their suggestions is to take a look at power. So I was thinking we could probably do that and maybe do something like a furnator or a magmator. I think we may have pumps. Yeah, we have ranged pump. Ranged pumps is a very, very straightforward mod. So we might look into pumping lava from the nether for some early game power, and then we'll look into maybe some more renewable energy and renewable systems along the way. I think that sounds like a plan. So we're going to need, to get started, we're going to need lava, which I know we have plenty of. So let's also grab bucket, which I think I have all of them here. So if we wanted to make some of the dielectric paste, we just need this. Let's go for bitumen. All right, that should be plenty. And so now we can flip these. I'm going to flip half of these on their sides. Let's go for the copper recipe. If we grab these 5, we'll get a quest reward, but we'll also get started with power. And we get a few more. So you can energize, you can get right into the Furnator, which I think is our plan, or you could do an energy cable, which is also our plan. So let's take a look. I wish it would let me see the recipe. That's kind of annoying. Well, that's okay. So let's take a look at power. Let's get ourselves an energy cell basic. And now with that, we'll grab 16 of these little capacitor guys, and we'll get ourselves an energy cell. I believe we have almost everything we need here. Again, not only is that a quest reward. Oh, that got us a Furnator. Okay. Honestly, that works very nicely. That got us more dielectric casing, I think. And so now I want to get some cables, because we have the Furnator to generate some power. And I know we're already producing perfectly compatible power over here on these power lines, but it's being used right now with our create setup. So until we've gotten all the way through create and we're done with it, I think we're kind of just going to sit here and deal with what we've got. So looking at energy cables at the basic tier, this looks pretty straightforward. We're not going to need any of this. That gets us plenty of these energy cable. That also gets us an energy hopper. And now I think we are good to get into the magmator. So a magmator is a dynamic tank. Interesting. That's a change to the recipe. Let's get 3 of these. Okay, so, nope. Magmator. I already have 1. The dynamic tanks actually make 4, so I only needed the recipe once, but that is okay. And that gets us more of these. I'm going to go ahead and send a lot of this stuff just back into the system because we have so very much of it that it's just easiest. And it's going to try to send it back to me like it likes to for some reason. Okay, so we also got a quest for the magmator. Let's see, that gets us a bucket of lava. Cool stuff. And the thermogenerator, I'm not even going to acknowledge. I'll make one just to get the quest done, I guess. But the thermogenerator is silly overpowered. It does not consume anything at all. Let's see, I should have blaze. Let's craft or request a couple of these. Okay, 34 blaze from using the crushing wheel. So now, if we look at power thermo, let's request one of these guys. I'll show you exactly. Actually, I think we need 2. These are shapelessly crafted into the tiny boys. There we go. And so the thermogenerator is ridiculous. You basically put down 2 different sources of heat. What was that? An cell blazing. Wow. Okay, that's a great quest reward. And a multi-block sink. The reason they gave us a sink, I'll show you. These things are really ridiculously silly, so I want to explain why before I just tell you I'm not using this. Because I have used these before, not on a Let's Play, but I have used them in a server in the past. No, thank you. So I'm going to set up a little area right here. We're going to put down that lava bucket we got earlier. I'm going to put that here. And so what we're going to see is we have no fluid. All right, that's a problem. Let's give it some fluid. Okay, now I'm making 130 RF per tick on water because there's lava beneath it. The lava never gets consumed. Never gets consumed. Ever. This lava is infinite. Guess what? Water is infinite. It takes a very simple setup to get this to be infinite water. Like it's not annoying. I'm not annoyed by any of this. I'm like, you've got to understand, I'm not using this because it's a little too simple. I like complicated setups. I like setups I look at and I'm proud of. I don't know if anyone remembers, but back in like the 110 days, there was the Ender generator from RF Tools where you had to time everything perfectly. That I thought those were super fun to set up. So that just kind of maybe gives you an idea of why I don't like these and why I'm gonna go with something at least slightly more complicated. Not too much more, but still. Okay. Yeah, let's do a lava pump. place down that sink to steal some water real quick. I think we have everything. We'll grab materials for that, and that gets us a pump. Now, our pump will need to be powered. So that's why we have an extra magmator. That's why I made 3. We're going to have 2 in the overworld and 1 in the end. We're also going to need a way to get it from the overworld to the end, and I'm going to go the simple route. I should probably go with a smarter, kind of cooler setup. Some way of transporting liquids between dimensions would be very neat. But I just, you know, it's not worth all the complication at this stage of the game. So I'm going to make 2 of these ender tanks for cross-dimensional fluid transport. And that gets us our 2 ender tanks. And now we have a way to get lava to and from the end, or the nether, sorry. Ender tank, nether, same difference. So what we're going to do, oh, you know, we need a way to move liquids around too, I just remembered. Let's do a mechanism pipe for that. I think that's probably our best route. So mech pipe, these are mechanical pipes. These are the ones that transfer fluids, and you can tell that because they have buckets in the recipe. We're going to get 16 of these, and we should probably already have a configurator. Yep, that's the first thing in our morphing tool. The configurator will allow us to set whether or not the pipe will pull or push liquid. I like this spot right here. And I'm going to put my pump directly above lava, and you're going to see it's requesting lava, or it's requesting power, so we're going to put our magmator here. This is a basic tier. I do suggest usually upgrading these at least to, or these are the basic. I usually don't suggest doing the starter. So there is a tier before basic. Looks like, I know there is, but it looks like maybe starter isn't even in the pack somehow. I am a little confused by that, but I believe, I guess, I don't know, who knows. So I'm going to configure these to input and extract. You're going to be right next to the pump, so it's going to go ahead and withdraw that energy anyway. And I'm going to just kickstart it, and now you're going to see this immediately filled up all the way. We only put 1 in there in the beginning, and now we're up to 4. And our little ender tank here is going to start filling up. Now, the problem is this is somewhere completely far away from our base, and we're in another dimension, so we do need to chunk load this as well. So we'll claim and chunk load, and this will chunk load the rest of the chunks that it needs to chunk load in order to get the other bits of lava or grabbed, basically is what I'm trying to say. So now we should have lava that we can get here in the overworld. And I'm going to set it up over here. I don't know really where exactly, but I guess we could probably make it simple and just set it up under here. Because the setup will not be all that complicated. We could also, I'm gonna grab, I should have elevators in this pack. Yep, we do. Do we have moving elevators? Okay. Okay, so the purpose of the elevator is, of course, such that we can zip back and forth. So we have ways of doing this. I'm gonna set this up right here. I know it's a little bit dark. Now we have ways of zooming, and I can right-click these to apply a texture to them. So let me get some lighting. And I'm going to dig out just a very small room here. This is not, there's no need for this to be large. The setup is actually very straightforward, very simple. So we will have our ender tank here for the time being. You know what? We'll go around the back. I usually do bottom, but back sounds different. I'm going to ask you to output. You're going to see that's going to fill up. And now we put down our magmator basic. They're instantly filled, and they're going to start producing 70 RF per tick. If I say RF, FE, IF, they're all interchangeable. They are all interchangeable in this mod pack. There's also KJ or joules that also works. They're all completely interchangeable in this pack. It's actually pretty cool. It's not just this pack. It's modern Minecraft at the moment is all flexible. So just neat stuff to consider. If I say that, that's what I mean. So now, if we needed to store this power, which I definitely want to, what I would do is I'm going to grab at power. I want to grab our cable. And what I think would be cool is I'm just going to put a cell directly above these, and these can be the buffer. These can be the way in which we, let's see, down, we want you to receive. And so now we're building up a buffer of energy so that if we ever have any weird spikes that we're not expecting, we'll be good to go. We won't have any issues. And so we can store 10 million in here, 1 million in here. And now we can connect our pipes here and tell you how to connect if we really wanted to. We could tell you push, pull, on, off. And we can tell you which direction, whether or not you need to work on redstone activity or not. Overall, it's just a very cool, very straightforward, simple system to get that running. And I'm always happy with this system just because it's a super early game. It's very preliminary, very silly tier, rather, of stuff. But it works, you know? So now let's look into getting into refined storage. So to get into refined, we're going to need basically 3 things, maybe 4 in total. We will need a controller. This will control the entire thing. This will basically be the heart of our system. Then we're going to need a grid, which is how we're going to access our data, our information. And I always go with the crafting grid. The crafting grid specifically is one in which you can do crafting recipes within. And it looks like we're going to need to smelt some nether quartz. So let's get quite a bit of this requested. And toss it into this guy. Now this guy's going to require power. Fortunately, we have our power cable. So we can, in fact, take these and route them. And that's probably exactly what I'm going to do. So I know that we have our cable linkage right here. So I'm thinking if we put it, well, if we do it here, you'd see it. I don't really think that's a problem. Maybe we do it here. That way we're not really concerned with any of that. And if we run over here, oh, yeah, our power is just right there anyway. So yeah, we can, in fact, do this, and hopefully you'll start to receive power. You automatically do. Good. I was just concerned that it was the wrong side. That was my only fear, really. So I'm going to put these back for now. I know we're probably going to end up tearing down this whole system pretty shortly, but no need to go ballistic quite yet. And it looks like I'm missing a piece of smooth quartz. Grab that. Pop. Cool. So now we have this guy who is free to smelt us some stuff. And I'm going to speed you up. And you'll be able to keep up. You've got power. These cables that I have that I'm using, they only do 1.4 thousand forge energy per tick. That's actually still really quite a whole lot, to be honest. But this helps us kind of do all this stuff pretty quickly. This is, wow, that was a lot of XP. But this is just a pretty quick system to do it with, honestly. It's much easier to do it this way. I did not want my torches, but that's okay. So we need the controller. We're going to need some of these processor guys. We're going to need... Ooh, that's a good point. I think we may have slime, but I just want to make sure. We're going to need slime balls and string. You need quite a bit of this recipe, so I'm going to go ahead and let these craft up. Okay, so let's grab these. And now we can get started. So we have the basics. Oh, we're also going to need cable. And we're also going to need external storage. We're going to need 6 of these. That's not too bad. So to get started, we're going to need a couple of these guys. Looks like from what I'm seeing, we're going to need 2. Okay, just 2 of these. Whoops, I'll toss that back in the system. And try that again. We will also need the same exact thing. Hey, my torches came back. For once, that issue is actually kind of helpful. We will also need the iron variants, like so. We're going to need a lot of these. I'm going to go ahead and take what I can get for now. And looking through our quest, we're getting somewhere with refined storage. I'm sure it's like, yep, waiting for these processors. And not only does that get us a quest, it also gets us quartz enriched iron. So now we will need that, and we need to make more, in fact. Let's not kid ourselves. Because you'll notice most of the things in this mod will require it. It's kind of the ingot of choice. Okay. Now we need to get ourselves a controller. The controller is going to be crafted like so. With any stone. I probably have this though, so we'll take it. That's going to get our machine casing number 1. I believe we need another one here, so I'll go ahead and request that. And now we're going to need the rest of the controller. We already have most of these things around, so that gets us a controller. And we're going to need some cable. That's going to get us even more cable. It wants us to get into disk storage. I think I might pass for now. 40 cable actually is probably plenty. I'm not going to go for the rest of these. But we will need a crafting grid, which means we're going to need a normal grid. So we should have almost everything we need for this. We're going to need one of these. I'm going to grab another one of these and a piece of quartz, just to speed up the crafting. So if we do that, and then we do one of these for the destruction core, now I will put those things away. I just want to make sure we have everything we need. To make the basic grid, I think so. We will request, and that gets us a grid. Now we will want to turn this into a crafting grid. I don't think I have any crafting tables on hand. Let's see, what kind of plank do we have? We'll take it. And we will also need our advanced guy, since this is a shapeless recipe. So we will do this like so. That gets us a crafting grid. Had another quest reward for Miner's Delight, apparently. Interesting. I should look into getting a Paxel made. That's probably a good idea. What's that quest, I wonder? No idea. Yeah, I don't know why it wants disks and drives first. I think I'm going to pass on that for now, because I do specifically want to use the infrastructure we already have set up here, because it works, right? So no need to undo anything. We should have a whole lot of chests. Yeah, I was going to say, let's grab all of these, and let's go ahead and get the recipe for you set up, except, yep, I think that's fine. We're going to want 6. And that gets us 6 external storage and 20 cable. All right, let's get going. So we're gonna snag most of our things. We have a whole lot that we can clean up now, which is it's kind of sad that we're getting rid of a lot of this, but at the same time, it will be also a bit of a relief to have a better, faster storage system that we don't have to wait on. Because as much as I did like using pretty pipes for this, and it was I've never done it before, so honestly, it was really cool. Very easy to get set up going early game. There are some niceties that I'm used to with refined storage that I kind of cannot wait to get back into, especially because from things that I've learned, I generally like to set up advanced storage later in the game, and I've recently kind of discovered that it makes that part of the game really a grind, really not fun, or less fun. It's still fun. I mean, it's Minecraft. Come on. But, you know, significantly less fun, that's for sure. And so that's kind of when I came to the realization going around this time that why would I do that? Like, just go ahead. We've done pretty pipes for a little bit, and that definitely made things way easier while we were trying to get, you know, our energy infrastructure set up and trying to get a lot of things crafted. But now that we've done that, why continue? So I'm just reclaiming some of this quartz that I've spent. I probably should not have done this yet, because now we have to do this dreaded search through these terrible modular storage interfaces. Come on. So we'll take these cables. And... oh, still waiting on the server, huh? Yeah, they cause a lot of lag. That's for sure. Anyways, since we don't want to see this piping, because there's nothing cool about it, it's very dumb looking. I mean, it's not dumb looking, it's just not nearly as cool looking as watching items flowing through pipes. We're gonna just kind of reclaim some of this quartz and clean this up a little bit rather than leaving a huge hole underneath our house for the most part. So, we can fill a lot of this stuff back in. And I'm thinking what we can do is, whoops, nope. I'm thinking we can do kind of a cool looking thing where we put our controller. Oh, we gotta charge our controller somehow. So we're gonna have a goofy looking setup for a little while, I guess, and that's fine. We're gonna put our controller there. We will send it power like so. You see that is charged up. We're barely sipping any power because this is not going to cost a lot of power to run. These guys are generally very low power. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to put an external storage on the bottom of this drawer controller, and we're going to tell you priority of 1024. And we're going to hit set. And now we will run our wiring, or cable, rather, over to the controller. I do the same thing over here. And the reason we're doing 1024 is so that way these take precedence over the non-drawers. That way we can keep our stuff nice and clean. We don't end up accidentally wasting a whole lot of storage that we could use somewhere else. So let's run this like so. And we'll put external storage on the bottom of these guys, and these don't have to be prioritized. It does not matter with these. They can just kind of go whatever which way they need. Right, and so now that's all good and set up. The last thing we need to do is we need to put a grid down, like so. So now you walk in, and you're presented with a grid, and look, ta-da, here are all of our items. Just like that. And you can configure this in a way that I also very much like. So I'm going to sort by ID, descending. I like a usually large grid, and I like to do JEI synchronized two-way. And I don't do auto-selected because I just hit tab, which I need to configure as such. Now I hit tab and I can start typing and it's going to sync. So if I were to put everything away and I said, oh crud, I needed my lapis chunk, then I can just do that. So I can come here and grab all these chunks and grab what I need, and it's instant. These guys may take forever to open, but they can be accessed immediately, which is very nice. I need smooth quartz, so I am going to grab a couple stacks, and I don't have to wait on anything at all for this. So like I said, this is mostly just an ease of use kind of thing at this point. This makes it's way easier for us to proceed now, knowing that we don't have to wait forever on things to finish loading. Now, I wanted to see, but it looks like there's not really a lot of choice for us as far as quartz goes. So let's see about maybe a block of quartz. I had an idea. What if we retextured these? And now we can actually tell that they're there. So, obviously the next thing to do would be probably to have another one of these. Oh, and the other cool thing is they can be dyed. So if I took, I thought I had that. Let's do bone. I can just right-click on this, and now it's white. Now it matches everything else. So, I know it's kind of a downgrade from the really, really cool setup we had previously, but, you know, it works out a little better, at least in my opinion, as far as, you know, having everything nice and cleanly set up goes. Now, I did just have a thought that we could put it over here. Let's grab more cable. We could put this over here instead, and I think it could even, it would look a little better, and we could grab another one and put it on the other side. So we'll have to reconfigure this a little bit. They don't keep their configurations, but that's fine. And it's not like I do a lot of configuration anyways. So there we go. Baby's first refined storage system is all good and set up and ready to go. I know that we have been only barely really playing around with pretty pipes, but it definitely is, it's perfect for early game. It really is. And for a Vanilla Plus pack, it's way more convenient than grabbing everything you need from a chest and going to a crafting table that won't remember your stuff. Like, it's 1,000 times more convenient. But in a mod pack like this where we have refined storage, I don't think we have simple storage networks. We don't have simple storage networks. We don't have applied energistics even. Like, refined storage is the end goal anyway, so I don't really see all that much of a point in sitting around and waiting. Plus, we can organize things in such a way, and we can search things in such a way that are a little more intuitive to how I tend to function, so I kind of look forward to having that kind of more aligned with how I'm used to playing and how I'm used to searching. So you'll see a little bit less clunkiness from me trying to craft something because the grid didn't work the way I expected it to, because it will always work the way I expect it to. So really quickly, I was just going through doing the quests for the disk drive anyway, because I figured screw it, why not? And I'm going to make a couple more of these cables real quick, because we are running a little low. But I just happened, you can see I was doing the crafting. The 1K storage drive was pretty straightforward, so I figured, okay, yeah, may as well, let's go ahead and get the disk drive done. Well, my quest reward was 4 1K storage parts and 2 storage housings. So I say, why not go ahead and move everything over digitally? Just for the sake of doing so, right? And that also unlocks the ability for us to get credit for the external storages that we put together as well. So I was thinking we could put a disk drive here and have our 5,000 storage available to us just right all in one place. So I'm going to grab the, whoops, I guess that works. It's really not that big of a deal. I'm going to grab my external storage here. Like I said, get credit for that. And we're going to route our cabling over here up to the disk drive. And so now I'm going to go through and start putting everything into here. So I think since that's going to be pretty tedious, I'm going to do that off camera, and I will be back. Actually, really quickly, let's see what the quest reward was here. And a bin. Okay, so the advanced bin, it holds 16,000 items. We might go with the bins in this case. Well, that's actually not that much. Yeah, we may. Looks like there are a couple of other things that we may want to try to get into at some point. I should have gotten credit for the grid. I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't. But we're going to need to make another grid anyways to put one over in our main house. So, yeah, interesting. Anyways, yeah, let me go ahead and get some of this stuff done and clear it out, and I will be back. Okay, so I've got everything moved over. So for the most part, I'm noticing that a lot of our drives are full. I made a couple of extras to fill everything in because we actually did not have enough storage. One thing I didn't consider when I said, oh, look at all the storage we have, even though they store 1,000 items, they actually store 1,000 items as in the total quantity. So if I have 1,000 stacks of items and each stack only holds 1 item at max, then that's 1,000 items. Whereas the RF tools storage devices that we were using held 300 stacks, not actual items. So if a stack held 64 items, then that only counted for 1 stack. If a stack holds 16 items, it's only 1 stack. So long story short, we were kind of getting a little more storage out of the RF tools stuff, but I was glad to get those out of here to keep from lagging the server out in the future, because it does seem like it is relatively problematic in the long run. So, you know, overall, I'm pretty glad to have kind of gotten those things cleared out. So yeah, I'm super happy with all the progress we've gotten in this episode. We have done oh so much stuff. We've gotten a lot of progress knocked out, we've gotten a lot of progression, and we've opened a lot of the doors up for the future as far as keeping things kind of simple and fast-paced for us. So if we need to craft something, we're not spending all day struggling with a crafting device, we just have it done. If we need more storage, it's easy to get that done. You know, overall, we're pretty well off. So the only thing I can think of that I'm probably going to do in between episodes, except for, you know, maybe some housekeeping here and there, possibly cleaning up this part of the mountain or rebuilding our portal to look a little better, is I'm going to, A, possibly build up a grid over here for us to have, and B, I will probably expand our storage drawer collection. You see, we've only got a handful over here. It looks like we've got, what, 10 per side? I'm probably going to put a couple of these together with compacting drawers as well. That way we can compress some of our materials that we have more of, like glowstone and quartz. That way we can keep these numbers in our drives pretty low, because we've got like 556 blocks of redstone. That's just a large number overall. So I'll probably do that in between episodes, and until then, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks a lot for hanging out. See you in the next one.